Before I started recovery from codependency, I had these 7 C's, and they were destroying my life. I'm going to talk about those today, and I'm going to talk about what I learned about that. But these 7 C's were destroying my peace and my joy and my self-esteem and my self-worth. They were taking away from me day after day, whittling away until I was in despair, took away my hope, so many things. And I had to address these and change. But becoming aware of how these are affecting us is the start. And then I had to accept that I did these things. So there's not a certain order of these. I'm just going to talk about what they are and what I've learned about them. I complained. I was a chronic complainer. I complained about everything to anyone who would listen. I complained about my lot in life. I complained about him. My kids didn't act right. The money, the house. I complained about everything. And I had so much stuff to be grateful for, but I complained. And I compared myself. I compared myself that I wasn't where I thought I should be at this age in my life, or what should be going on. Or I compared my marriage to theirs, or my house to theirs, or my looks or accomplishments. And I compared and compared and destroyed my self-worth, comparing myself to others. And the concern. I was concerned about what you thought of me. I was concerned if I measured up. I was concerned if I was skinny enough, or pretty enough, or talented enough. Concerned about everything. I worried and worried and worried. And then catastrophizing. It was just awful. Everything was awful. And anything that happened, and I would take it all the way to the funeral, Financial stuff would happen, and I'd start struggling, and I was going to be the bag lady down on the corner pushing my cart. Then I would have been concerned about what would have happened to my cart. But, I'd get a headache and think I had a brain tumor. Everything. It was just always everything. Something bad was going to happen. And I waited for the other shoe to drop. Negative. And then I tried to control things that I could not control. I tried to control, other people, whether they liked me or not, through people pleasing or accommodating. And it's controlling to do that, to think that I could control another person's feelings, beliefs, behaviors. It's controlling. People pleasing is controlling. Enabling is controlling. I had a hidden agenda with lots of motives that were all about me. Commiserating. Somebody would show up, they would complain about their problems, and I was right in the middle of it, commiserating. And of course, mine were always worse than theirs, trying to one up. And that comparison came in. And all of these begin to play together. They are negative. And, there's a lot of stuff about the law of attraction. And if you're doing any of these, that's what you're attracting in your life. I begin to realize that my C's, the 7 C's, were controlling my life. I was self-sabotaging because of these. I was, self-fulfilled prophecy. Self-fulfilled prophecy is whatever you believe, then that's what happens. Like the little train that says, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And he goes up the hill, I think I can. What if he said, I think I can, I think I can't? It's that law of attraction. And if I have all of this negative stuff in my life, then I am attracting that to me. Misery. I was miserable. You know, they say misery loves company, but company doesn't like misery. And didn't have a whole lot of friends because they were tired of me complaining. They were tired of me, catastrophizing, all that negativity and drama. And of course I would say, I don't like all the drama. And yet I was the drama. So I got into recovery and I began to see these things. And it was because those people there loved me when I couldn't love myself. I did not love myself. And one of the things I think that I learned is these don't get eradicated. I still do this stuff today. Every single one of them. But they do not control my life. I'm aware of them. I have to beware because they were a habit. And I have to beware. I was addicted to that because it met a need. It was my coping mechanism. And it met a need of seeking sympathy, fear that people were going to abandon me and reject me, and of course self-fulfilled prophecy. I acted like that, and guess what? They didn't want to be around me. So I became aware. I had to accept that I complained all the time. One of these people one time said, "Can you go one day without complaining?" Well, it was real quiet in my house. And then I was critical. And I was at a meeting one night criticizing someone. Someone walked by and said, being critical of the critical. And I had to begin to look at my behavior. And I had to begin to change that into what was positive. You don't focus on what it is you need to change. You pinpoint focus on what it is that you need to do that's positive. And it kind of tapes over the negative. So I, daily, if I thought I can't complain the rest of my life, then I'd be in trouble because I was complaining last night to a couple of my friends. But that's kind of how I do that. My circle's smaller. I have a few safe people that I can bounce this stuff off of, get it out of my system, and then go on positively. And I had to be aware of that. So the commiserating, and I call it dueling martyrs. My lot in life is worse than yours. Oh, and they told me to get off the cross. Somebody else needed the wood. I was such a martyr. After all I've done, how can they do this to me? And I did not realize I was the bottomless pit. I was the scorekeeper. I was the one that thought, if I did this, then you should do that for me. And then, I was a giver to the point, a people pleaser, to the point to where people took advantage of me. So I had to stop all of that. To change my complaining, I get into gratitude. To change my concerns and worry is a waste of time. It's like praying for things you don't want. And I equate it to saw and sawdust. Waste of time. So when I am over concerned, then I combat that with faith and love. The catastrophizing, I can handle it. It will all work out. Comparing myself to others, I have to remember that I am unique. There's only one of me. And a lot of this is internal work. The controlling, I have to look at what I can control. I control my attitude, my perspective, my beliefs, my thinking, and my behavior. I can control those things, me. I cannot control other people, a lot of circumstances. There's so many things I can't control. And when I let go, and I let God, and I ask for courage, it's that serenity prayer. When I was back in before I got to recovery, I had the serenity prayer backwards. I was accepting the things that I should have had courage to change. And I was trying to change the things that I could not control. And when I flipped that around, I began to be happier. I got more peace in my life. Got joy. You know, it's like the old hee-haw. I'm going to age myself. Hee-haw, where they'd sing, gloom, despair, misery on me. Deep, dark depression, excessive misery. If I had no bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Gloom, despair, and agony on me. And that's what you attract. More the same. If you want what you got, keep doing what you did. If you want something different, you have to do something different. And it all starts on the inside. It all starts with you. If you're being critical and judgmental, it's because you're critical and judgmental of yourself. If you have trouble being tolerant of other people, it's because you don't tolerate your own humanness. It all turns into you. It all comes back to you. That's what I do here. That's what my channel's about, is developing a relationship with yourself, developing a sense of self, to have a strong self-esteem. And man, these 7 C's will destroy all of that. If you like what I share here, please subscribe, hit like, share this with somebody that you think might need to hear what I have to say. Check out my website. Information's below in the description. And I'm going to post a video here of maybe some other insight and wisdom that I have gleaned. People ask me, how'd you get so wise? Well, my mistakes are opportunities to learn the wisdom, to know the difference. And that's how I got here. And I've lived a long time. And I use my experience to help other people overcome the destructive loops in their life that keep them stuck and unhappy. And the most important thing that I like to say is to be you on purpose.